Hey everybody, it's time for another edition of Camo Dave News, real news involving folks who hike, folks who camp, folks who live in RVs, travel, whatever. We scour the world for interesting stories, and we've got a couple interesting ones here involving hikers. This one actually made the national news last night. I was noticing, at least on David Muir ABC News, a very quick, about 15-second mention of this. I knew I was in deep trouble. Hiker crawls for 10 hours to his rescue after breaking his leg. Oh my goodness. Anyway, this is from KOMO News, Seattle.
In the hospital. He was released a couple of hours ago, now resting up in a hotel room with his dad, who flew in from out of town to be with him. I want to show you a couple of photos from his rescue.
Yeah, look at this. This is amazing. This is courtesy of the U.S. Coast Guard.
Friday, he slipped on an icy patch along the Duckabush Trail, a trail that he's used a couple of times before. He knew right away that something was wrong, and his only way out would be to crawl. His goal was to reach several people that he remembered seeing camping about 3 miles into the trail. That's
amazing. That is truly amazing. The injured trail runner, on the remote trail, which is on the Olympic Peninsula, Joe Oldendorf says he crawled for more than 10 hours to reach rescuers that found him early Saturday morning on the Duckabush Trail. Wow. He was taken to the Harborview Medical Center on Sunday, and then he was released. So he's in good health. He says about 2 hours, 45 minutes into his journey on Friday afternoon, he slipped on an icy patch on the trail. It's a trail he's used a couple of times before, he said. He says that he knew right away that he hurt his ankle, and then he sat down to examine it, and his foot kind of flipped to the side like it was untethered. Ugh. That's what he told KOMO News. So yeah, he said at that point he knew he was in deep trouble. He knew his only way out was to crawl. His goal was to reach several people that he remembered seeing camping about 3 miles into the trail. Wow. He says he finally realized that he had a cell phone. Eventually he found that he had a cell phone signal. Okay, so where he was originally, where he had the injury, he did not have any cell phone signal, obviously, or he would have called. When he finally got a cell phone signal, he got out a text message after 7 hours of crawling. Wow. His 911 call went through on the third attempt. He then tried to crawl for nearly 4 more hours before he was heard rescuing crews. That's the biggest relief I've ever felt. Wow. Firefighters, EMT, and search and rescue crews helped get him into a landing spot further on the trail. They covered him with blankets and hot packs to keep him from getting hypothermia. U.S. Coast Guard crew hoisted Oldendorf from the trail using an MH-60 Dolphin helicopter that took off from Port Angeles at 7 a.m. He was transported to the Harborview Medical Center in stable condition and taken into surgery for the knee and for the fracture, and then he also had large patches of raw skin on both knees. So wow. Anyway, Jefferson County Search and Rescue also helped in finding him. So wow, that's really crazy. Oldendorf says surgeons put a rod in his tibia and a plate and some screws in his fibula. Anyway, he's now in a splint. It said it could take him 12 weeks to fully recover. Search and rescue crews say Oldendorf's incredible grit and determination likely prevented more serious injuries. It also helped that he had a charged cell phone. That helped a lot. You also got to be very careful too when you're hiking or camping or whatever, in your vehicle even, that you have some way of communication. And even though you have a cell phone, a lot of those places in the mountains don't have cell signals. You're just out of luck. They do have a satellite emergency pack thingy-dingy, like a one-use emergency pack you can get. Perhaps, and then that's a couple $100. But that's probably a good idea if you're going to be camping and hiking in remote areas. If you fall, it sends a GPS signal up to the satellite. You can also, I think, ping your friends and neighbors to let them know that you're okay. There's a little button on it that you can say I'm okay, so that you can say every night at 7 o'clock I'll send you a message or a little ping. But if you do fall and really get injured and you have no cell service, you at least have that. That's not a bad idea if you're going to be camping or hiking in remote areas. We got this news from NBC. Italian hikers were rescued in Alaska after their trek to the end of the wild bus. There's the end of the wild bus. Yeah, it's very a popular hiking destination. I've seen a number of various YouTubers, explorers, and stuff that I watched. A number of them have done that. It's one of the things to do up in Alaska. An Italian man suffering from frostbite and 4 other tourists were rescued in the Alaska wilderness just a couple days ago after visiting an abandoned bus that had become a lure for adventurers since it was featured in the Into the Wild movie. Associated Press reports that Alaska state troopers rescued 5 Italians Saturday from a camp. They were set up after visiting the dilapidated bus on the Stampede Trail near the interior town of Healy. The hikers were found 13 miles from the trailhead, so they weren't right at the bus, but they were hiking toward the bus. One of the hikers had frostbite on his feet and was transported to Fairbanks for treatment. The hiker's injuries, the other ones were not, there was no life-threatening injuries. Rescuers were alerted by the hikers because they had a satellite-based emergency device. Okay? Now, of course, there's no cell signal out there. The Emergency Response Coordination Center of Medical the signal goes to an Emergency Response Coordination Center. Okay? So they had the device, they hit the button, and bang, the word went out even though there was no cell signal. That was very fortunate for them because if they, the one was already getting frostbite and they couldn't get help pretty quickly, they could have had some serious problems there. The rescue was the latest episode involving the bus, first made popular by John Krakauer's book published in 1996 and then by Sean Penn's 2000 film of the same name. Wow. Both fueled a lingering mystique about a young idealist, Christopher McCandless, who met his death from starvation on the bus, which is about 10 miles north of the entrance to the Denali National Park and Preserve. Wow. Over the years, several hikers have been rescued and others have actually died while trying to retrace McCandless's last steps. In July, a newlywed woman from Belarus died after she was swept away by the Teklanica River while trying to reach the bus with her husband. Yes, you do have to make some river crossings there in Alaska. That's got to be cold anyway. All right, so at least all good news with our hikers. Lost hikers are bad. Rescued hikers, that's better. So we have all good news here. No one with serious injuries, but good idea if you're going to be hiking in areas, even in the continental U.S., the 48 states, do get one of those satellite emergency transceiver thingies. So probably you can get them at REI and get them online and whatever. It's a good thing to have with you because there's no cell signal out there. You know what I'm saying? All right, folks, that's it for today. Little news updates for some hiking rescues. 25th of February 2020. Thanks for watching. Vlog Hunter.